Our next guest on Hollywood Headliners, she has been a national talk show host and for really over 2 centuries has ruled the morning news shows here in Los Angeles.
Centuries?
She knows everything about every celebrity. She knows where they are at every time. I mean, she's just really been amazing. She's here, though, tonight to talk about a really cool program called Mending Kids International. Please welcome my friend and cohort, Dorothy Lucey. The mechanics of doing a morning show. It comes on the air at 7, and it goes until 9 or 10 in the morning. We see these a lot around our local stations.
It used to be an hour, then 2, then 3.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got to be there at
some at 4.
4 in the morning for makeup.
Yeah. So what is your life like? You'd have to get in super early, come in and do the makeup. I mean, did you have a life?
I always had a life, and that's probably why I kind of sucked in the morning. People who can go to bed at 7:15 at night are really excellent at getting up at 3 in the morning. I could never do that. I was always the person who at midnight I was panicked, like I must go to sleep now.
Let's talk about a little bit about Mending Kids International.
Kids. Not that I have anything to do with it. It's all the surgeons and the other brilliant people. But from the time I've been volunteering there, which is about 8 years, we have, helped really save the lives of 1,600 kids in 54 countries, including the United States.
How? I mean, what is this? Explain it. Paint the 30,000-foot flyover for us, if you would.
We take doctors who nicely volunteer their services and send them to hellholes.
Really?
And we help the sickest of the sick and the poorest of the poor and their kids who are sometimes hours, days away from death.
Wow.
We do a lot of open heart surgery, but we do all kinds of surgeries all around the world.
But you've gone on these trips. What's that like?
I've gone to Africa twice with Mending Kids and to Asia. And I just got back from Central America, Panama, which, Panama does not sound like, oh, I'm going to Africa. The poorest of the poor in Panama was shocking to me. We were working with people who had never seen a doctor before.
Oh, my gosh.
People who live on islands in Panama who, you don't want to get too friendly with the chickens and the pigs because you don't know what's for dinner. I mean, there's no electricity, there's no running water, there's no cars, there's no Wi-Fi, which made me insane. And they are just living off the land. And there are still people who live that way, and they do not see doctors.
How can we find out more about this? Do you know if there's a website?
There's a website, mendingkids.org. You can find out about it, and you can go on and donate.
Yeah.
Everybody else can just do the research, but you can give money. I ran into Sam the other day, and if you have a minute, I can tell a very embarrassing story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
Okay, so I happen to be, and this is going to be...
Sam Rubin, by the way, is the entertainment reporter on our Tribune station here in Los Angeles.
Google Sam Rubin, Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, he made national news recently.
Yeah,
Hey,
sadly, you might know who Sam is, even if you didn't know who Sam was.
He is
Correct.
a friend of all of ours, though. So
No better reason.
I happened to be at a party at the beach, and Brooke Burke was there. And there's absolutely no one in the world more gorgeous than Brooke Burke.
was she in her bathing suit?
She wasn't in a bikini at the time, but I work. But is actually the operative word because I work out with her, and her butt is so perfect. I stare at it.
Really?
I mean, she's beyond perfect. So I see Sam Rubin and his family walking down the beach. And he's got his kids with him, so I say, hey, bring the kids in because they can have some cake. We're here to party. Well, I kind of gave up watching morning television for Lent or, after I was no longer doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, even though I
well-being.
love Sam, I haven't seen his show lately, so I don't know that he talks about Brooke every day on the air as if she is his wife, his little imaginary dream wife. Apparently every day he talks about her.
But first of all,
I
can you
didn't know
blame him?
this.
Can you blame him, really?
No, because I feel that way about her too.
Yeah.
But I I bring his kids in. I introduce his wife to Brooke, and then Sam comes in, and he's just kind of like doing that guy fumbling thing, and he's all like, Sam. He's redder than he normally is, and he's more flustered than he normally is. And he knows Brooke, and he's met her, So he was chatting with her a little bit, and then he had a long conversation with Brooke's husband, who was equally as handsome. He's as handsome as Brooke is gorgeous. And then when Sam was leaving with his family, I said, "Hey, dude, how great am I? I hooked you up with your imaginary dream wife," because at some point he told me, I talk about her every single day.
Yeah.
I said, "You're welcomed," and he said, "No, you know what? It kind of killed the fantasy. 'Cause now my wife knows her,
Yeah, right.
and I had to talk to her husband." And
he
so,
was cheating in front of his wife by talking to Brooke.
and kids. Kids were
Yeah,
there too.
I mean that'll just ruin it.
So I'm just a fantasy killer.
Okay. Fantasy Killer, thank you for being with us tonight,
very
talking about
welcome.
Mending Kids International,
Thank
and
you.
for co-hosting on that Deborah Norville exclusive interview that we had here tonight.
I want to see the underwear pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Of who, Deborah Norville or
Well,
Donald Sterling?
I don't think there are any
I'm getting
Deborah.
really confused here now.
If there are Deborah underwear pictures, I want to see those too.
Those are in Rob's head.
Yeah, right. That's my book. Thank you, Dorothy Lucey, very much for being here.